of Kelra.
Oh, Renegade! Gonna be able to find two with the Sandstorm. This is the time they go. They will find one now. Kirk could be in trouble too. Quite tanky himself. The rest of the team comes through and Kirk will. The Lord, they're going to poke down Aurora. Glorious Pathway going to be dropped. Renegade 2 goes in with a Raging Sandstorm. Pops the flicker from Kelra. Kelra could be in trouble though. Under the turret. They find the kick on Demon Kite and he's gone. Double for Kelra. They're looking for Demon Kite. They'll find him as to the hero pool that they have here. Last pick is the Cho.
I'm liking this.
Okay, so we're going to get to see that come through. How are we feeling about this?
I feel like Onic had a pretty...
The Ling, because we just haven't seen the Ling too much this season.
That is true. Only one game has win already under its belt. It's a classic Demon Kite hero as well, so let's see what's going to happen here on game number 2 between Onic, Philippines, and Aurora.
It was Kyle Teasy and Team Falcons that played Ling first this season, and it won. Let's see if Aurora can replicate that with this Ling.
Hey, if Demon Kite's done it with the Lucas, he can probably do it with the Ling. It is great, again, to see some of these other heroes pop up, though, just because we're so used to seeing, you know, the Suyos and the Joys in the jungle. But already, you know, taking a look at the emblems, he is running that killing spree still with the Sling.
Yeah, pure damage. It's a Fatal, Warcry, Assassin, and Dominic really wants to maximize the raw damage he can output, gets Weapons Master alongside Inspire for his emblem talents.
I guess that's one of the few ways you can actually keep up with the Suyo, right? Straight up damage output and try to get him with as few hits as possible, because more likely than not, you're the one who's on the receiving end. You're very fragile as a Ling.
What is the Fatal again? It's like 5% crit? Is it 5% crit, right? I always get those in Killing Spree mixed up, but the fact that he's got the Warcry emblem, you know, and he's able to go ahead and pop out some of that extra damage, I'm wondering, though, as later in the game that it's going to be increasingly more difficult for him to actually fight toe-to-toe, just because, again, you have an Eve for Onic Philippines. You know, you might have to deal with Brusco trying to kick you at the same time. So I think for Onic Philippines, if they can actually get that Tempest Blades out early, that does a lot already in the mid lane. Edward going to be in trouble. RWM already dropped down. Brusco will flicker out defensively. So they force that fight. They'll call it off, and now the turtle's up.
Yeah, fast level 4 for Super Friends actually getting the real world manipulation right away. And Aurora understanding the tendencies of Onic Philippines to go for that pre-turtle trade. We're ready for it, but they weren't ready for Super Friends being level 4. Onic get the first turtle.
There you go. This time around, it's going to be Onic who are ahead on the objectives very early on. And that is really saying something. Now, it feels like Aurora are going to have to turtle up a little bit just to be able to catch up here.
Okay. So with that, they get themselves a very minor lead. We'll see how they adjust from here. Again, they kind of have to play around their own timings. Aurora is a little bit different. Not too much difference, though, in lane-to-lane matchup right now, while both teams just go ahead and focus on farming. This is very similar to what we saw in Game 1 in the early game, until eventually kind of all hell broke loose, you know, by that second turtle.
All right, so yeah, we haven't really seen the full effect of the Onic the Aurora lineup so far.
Ouch.
Then again, their damage is quite lacking at this point. Demon Kite, ouch, is the right term for it. We're looking for damage right now. We have a lot of crowd control, but not really much to follow up on it.
Okay. Very slow rotation so far. Aurora just trying to find an opening through the center. Again, with how these two know well each other, they really don't want to let up with controlling the center of the map. Going a bit closer. Let's see if anyone will try to go for a sequence in the gold. Renegade is going to show up here.
I think that, though, again, is even just going to be spotted out, man. They have their bases covered everywhere.
Pretty much.
And we could have a very, once again, a situation where it's a very Filipino game. You know, low kills, at least until things kind of break out. UA also just kind of getting spotted out. Kirk, they know that purple buff is up. Demon Kite wants to go in and secure that, so that's the information given. But we're 15 away from that turtle.
Yep, Kirk just wants to check here. Again, no damage quite yet from the Aurora lineup. And now it's Onic who are looking for some of these kills to happen. No one making or committing to any major mistakes yet, though.
Could be a slow start. I wonder if Aurora's suddenly going to pull the trigger and go for a very aggro play here, as Onic have already started the turtle, but will back off as King Kong wants to get his buff first.
Probably could. Just back off for now. Both junglers getting into a position where they need that buff and they want to go for an all-out fight. You want to make sure that you have the tools to take that fight, and yeah, they're doing it right now.
Okay, Brusco holding on here. He does have the flicker available. Yui's going to be fine. The buff secured now, so they're going to get in position. RORA has a lot of utility. The question is, will Renegade actually be able to use it? Will he go in with Sandstorm, or vice versa from Onic Philippines? They're finally up on this side. The gold laners will go ahead and stay 1v1ing down in that gold lane, but a very slow second turtle of the game. Clearing things out, just kind of feeling out the area right now.
Yeah, there's a fight happening very soon here. Team Kite waiting for the retribution range. Oh,
they're going to have to go for it. King Kong will get the retribution off. There's the kick from Edward. A Sandstorm from Renegade, but they immediately call it off. They don't have enough damage to actually go for that fight. Now the fight for it, the purple buff. Brusco jumps in too. Now Super Friends could be in trouble. Demon Kite at the front of it. Temps of Blade's going to be used. Now RWM already dropped down. They just don't have enough damage to fight against Onic Philippines. They're going to crash down, and Edward in trouble. Finally a kill on the board for Onic, and they get the buff.
First blood at 5 minutes and 49 seconds.
Yeah. What did I say about these two teams in the last one? These two teams really know how to make something happen every time around 4 to 6 minutes. It's a big one. It'll be a slow start, then suddenly something will explode, something will go very wrong or very right, depending on who you're going to be looking at. It went very right there for Onic. Brusco and Kirk were on point there, and even Super Friends holding on to the real-world manipulation as long as possible, forcing Demon Kite out of the purple buff. He was forced to use his retry there, so he loses his purple buff. He couldn't even get a knock-up on Super Friends because he uses real-world manipulation to avoid getting crowd controlled by the Ling.
So much stomps here for Onic so far.
Edward could be in trouble. There's the kick. Yue trying to help him out. Renegade's going to be too late, even with the pathway. Won't be able to escape. A jump in from Kirk, and standing there menacingly after the jump. It's going to be fine. Another kill on the board for Onic.
Definitely a better game for Kelra this time around when everyone is busy just trying to deal with all these AOGs and Brusco on the show. It looks very good for the Granger of Kelra.
Oh, Renegade! They'll be able to find two with the Sandstorm. This is the time they go. They will find one now. Kirk could be in trouble too. Quite tanky himself. The rest of the team comes through, and Kirk will go down. Another pull, and that utility from this Jushin paying off.
That's a 2 for none here. King Kong with a steal on the buff though, pretty huge.
Yeah. All right, but this purple buff, this turtle should take for Onic is not going to be easy. They cannot fully commit into this as Aurora will take it. A great rotation by Renegade to put him in the spot to catch off Brusco and Super Friends.
Conceal going to be used again, focusing on the turtle, trying to zone him out. King Kong might try to jump in on this. He goes in for it. Yue actually secures the turtle, and they'll go ahead and disengage. So yes, that was difficult, even Demon Kite without the buff, but they get the objective.
Demon Kite, no retry then. King Kong didn't have his readily available for him as well, so they just tried to play out to see who could get the last hit. Brusco.
Okay, Brusco. Yeah, they just want to put pressure on anywhere they can for Demon Kite. They're going to wait here patiently. King Kong will get out of there. He needs the whole team to go ahead and just help secure the orange buff, and that's the things about the Lings. You know, they need to be very dependent on grabbing their buffs and not having them stolen.
And it's honestly a little bit more difficult for them to actually pull off a sustained team fight. Aurora got a bit of an advantage, but that was because they caught Onic by surprise. If Onic sees it coming, it might be a different story. They might be able to just dip and dash out of the harm's way here. They have the lineup to do it.
Yep. They can go ahead and continue to just win on the map is what Onic Philippines really wants to do. Meanwhile, this whole time, though, you know, for the most part, the gold laners, this is where they start to shift as a focus. And, you know, the whole time, this 9 minutes that they've been farming up, their damage should start to really come online. Renegade's taking a lot of shots. Edward, too, might be in trouble. Already getting the glorious pathway out. This is the pressure now for the purple buff. Demon Kite's going to have to fight for it. Taking a couple shots. Demon Kite takes a Queller shot and will have to get out there, too. And that's just going to be a purple buff. Taking it now once again from Demon Kite.
A damn good real-world manipulation coming out from Super Friends to zone out and stop any chances of Aurora to try and force a fight and the purple buff and giving a chance for Demon Kite to take it. By the way, it's 3, make it that 2 levels behind King Kong. I believe King Kong should be closer to hitting level 15, while Demon Kite just got past the level 12 hump. In terms of the items, it is Radiant and Dreadnought for Renegade. Excuse me, for Edward. So a good amount of tankiness coming out from that high loss. While it's, of course, a Thunderbelt Rush for the Khalid. And I like the itemization of Super Prince. Actually went for the Bloodwing's second item. He's prioritizing his own survivability, knowing again that he's up against a lineup that could mess him up easily if he's not careful.
Yeah, whatever they talked about there in that dugout, Onic 100% feels a lot different in this game. And Super Prince is more on point. Now he's back on the eve and can go into more confident positions here. Look at them. Just making sure that they have a lot more advantage in terms of vision and control of this Lord.
So also a pretty big gap between the junglers right now. As King Kong is 15 to Demon Kite's 12, probably almost 13. Half health on the Lord. They're going to poke down RORA. Glorious Pathway going to be dropped. Renegade 2 goes in with a Raging Sandstorm. Pops the flicker from Kelro. Kelro could be in trouble though under the turret. They find the kick on Demon Kite and he's gone. A double for Kelra. They're looking for Demon Kite. They'll find him as well. 3 down for RORA. As now Onic Philippines will go into the mid. The Lord is already secured and they want to take the turrets.
20 seconds in. Feels like a big advantage here for Onic, trying to go for the jugular here, attacking on the mid. UN Renegade might be in trouble.
Oh, already working on that mid turret, even with a shield down. King Kong's gonna jump in, has a ton of damage. Arrow Renegade is gonna be gone as a shot comes through, and still the Lord is up. Now on the top side, Onic Philippines looking to take more. 4 up though for RORA. Will they be able to look for another kill, another queller shot from King Kong, and now they face off. Have to deal with the Lord. Demon Kite going in from that back angle. He's going to be stared down though. Looking for Kelro possibly to jump in. Kirk jumps in and Demon Kite's punished again. We have a game 3 ahead of us.
Wow. That is the Onic that we know and love right here, right now, taking game number 2 and equalizing against Aurora.
They demand perfection from one another. Slip up at the wrong time and you will get punished. How they're both just trading